Hello everyone, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Keisha and today I'm going to be talking about 25 books on my Christmas TBR. It goes without saying that you all are in for a treat today because we do have 25 books to talk about, so I don't want to take too long in this intro, but I do want to do a little bit of a disclaimer to let you all know that I am a Christmas romance girly. So what that means is that for this video, I'm going to be doing 25 Christmas romances on my TBR. So these will all be clean or closed door romances because that is my personal preference. So if that's also yours, then this is probably going to be your perfect video. If you don't like romances, I totally understand and I appreciate you being here either way, but this may not be the exact video for you. But if you love romances, you're in the right place. You all are in for a treat today, and I'm so excited to talk to you about these books, but before we jump into it, I want to go ahead and thank the sponsor of today's video, which is Ana Luisa. Ana Luisa is a jewelry company based out of New York that creates high-quality pieces for affordable prices. Now, if you've been around here on my channel for any amount of time, you have probably heard me talk about Ana Luisa because I have partnered with them multiple times over the past 2 to 3 years, and I love their products every single time. Right now, they are currently running their Black Friday sale where you can get 35% off of your order. This is one of their biggest sales of the year, so you don't want to miss it. There's definitely going to be some pieces that will go quicker than others, so I do have a link down in the description box below if you want to check out Ana Luisa's items. But I did get some new ones today. These are actually going to be a Christmas present for my mom. Mom, if you're watching, you already know what you're getting, so there's no spoilers here. But I had her browse their website and she really was interested in these ones with the letter of the alphabet on them. So she has a necklace and she has a bracelet, and I absolutely love these. I know that these are hugely popular on their website. So I got these for my mom, and I'm also wearing a couple of pieces that I've gotten in the past. This key necklace that I have on, which you can probably barely see, it's very dainty and elegant, but also very simplistic, and you can wear with everyday items. And the earrings that I have on are actually the first pair of earrings that I ever got from Ana Luisa. They're the low medium hoops. So I got these about 2 to 3 years ago, and honestly, they are still just about as good as when I first got them, except having like my fingerprints on them. These are tarnish resistant and they are very high quality, like I mentioned. So I honestly can't say anything negative about Ana Luisa. And all the time that I have spent promoting their products, like this has been the one brand that sticks with me every single time, the one brand I'm constantly impressed with. So if you need a good Christmas gift for yourself, for your spouse, for your friends or loved ones, I highly recommend checking out Ana Luisa. And again, just a reminder, they are running a Black Friday sale right now. So click the link in my description box if you don't mind. That way I get some credit for sending you all their way, and check out their 35% off sale and snag some Christmas gifts and maybe something for yourself. Thank you again to Ana Luisa for sponsoring today's video. Without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and jump back into the Christmas book recommendations. For your personal enjoyment, I have broken up today's video into 6 different sections of these Christmas romance books, and these are all books that are on my personal TBR. I will not get to them all this Christmas, but they are high on my priority list. The first section that we're going to go into is one for those of you who know you're going to be busy this holiday season and you're going to struggle to read 300 to 400 page books because you have Christmas shopping to do, you have family and friends to visit, and I get you. That's why this section is novellas. So these are all 200 pages or less, and the first book on this list is Love Notes in Reindeer Falls by Beth Labonte. This is a closed-door second chance romance, and I actually read Beth Labonte's fall romance called Pumpkin Everything that was actually adapted into a Hallmark movie. So if you like the Hallmark vibes, her books definitely have those. And I really enjoyed that book, so I was really excited to hear that she had a Christmas novella. This follows our main character, Caitlin Cook, and Caitlin has been away from her hometown of Reindeer Falls for the past 8 years. She left to go to Harvard, and when she left, she ended up leaving parents who hoarded antiques, a much younger brother, and Shane, who confessed his love to her right before she left. Now she's back in Reindeer Falls and is shocked to find her childhood home in disarray, as well as her younger brother in desperate need of a sister. So as she comes back home, she starts to rediscover her love for music and antiques, and possibly even Shane, who, when she left, was a little bit of an immature teenage boy, and now he seems to be the man who has become the pillar of the community. So I feel like this is going to be a really good second chance type of story. The next book I'm very, very excited about. I have to read it this year because it has been on my TBR for the last couple of years, and that is 26 Ways to Come Home for the Holidays by Jennifer Joy. Now, what's really cool about this one is it's a little bit historical. It takes place in 1940s Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So it's around World War II, but it's not really heavy on the war because this is a light, fun Christmas romance. This is a friends to lovers, co-workers romance with mild language and low spice. Now, I couldn't find if this was like closed door low spice or low spice meaning just kissing, but I'm hopeful that it's not open door. If any of you all know, you can let me know, but low spice is good enough for me. It's Thanksgiving 1942, and we are following our main character, Stella, who is the first ever head of holidays for Hanover's department store. She's kind of in a little bit of a bind because their main Christmas window decorator has left the building days before the grand unveiling of the store's Christmas windows. So what they do is they have 26 home for the holidays themed Christmas windows, and now it's up to Stella and the rest of the workers to band together and get this thing done. And one of the workers' names is Hector. He is one of Stella's best pals and co-workers, so you have that friends to lovers workplace romance. I think it sounds really fun that this is like a department store window decorating romance, because I've always found that to be one of the most interesting things to watch in Christmas movies, but I've never really read anything with this. So I'm really excited to pick this one up. The next novella is One Christmas in Winter by Belle Renshaw. This is a clean, small-town romance with Hallmark movie vibes, and it follows our main character, Reba. She's the director of a Christmas movie in Winter, Montana, but her leading actor has an accident and he is no longer able to film this movie. And so she ends up going into this diner and meets Hoyt Bradley, who is also a former actor, and he owns Bentley's Diner. Hoyt reluctantly decides to help out Reba, and of course there has to be romance involved because it wouldn't be a Christmas romance without one. The next book is One Little Chance by Rebecca Jo Jackson. This is a second chance, clean, just kissing, no language romance with alternating timelines. This does take place in Sweet River, which is where this author's other books are set, but this can be read as a standalone. The story follows our main character, Sophia, who has just moved back to her hometown the day before Christmas, and no sooner than her suitcase hits the pavement does she run into her childhood sweetheart, Jordan Silk. This is the first of many encounters that they are going to have because they run into each other on New Year's Eve as well, and they end up meeting up at some of their favorite spots. So it may be a little bit more than fate that is trying to draw them back together. I think they both realize that they never should have left each other in the first place. The last novella that I have to share is Rent Yourself an Elf by Savannah Scott. Now, I have heard so many people love this author, but I have not read from her yet, so maybe this will be my first. This is a closed-door fake dating rom-com, and I'm going to read the synopsis of this one because I love the way it's worded. It sounds super cute. It's Christmas, and I should be full of cheer, but I'm having a hard time mustering the holiday spirit. That was always Graham's role. She loved Christmas so much she talked my parents into naming me Noel. Yeah, Noel first. Picture the boys in elementary school having a heyday with my name, but I didn't care. I knew Graham picked it for me, and I wore it proudly. When Graham's passed 2 years ago, she left me this house. I'm a lot of things, but a handy woman isn't one of them. And there's a ton of work to be done. My big plan? Ignore Christmas this year. In only 1 month, I can move into a new year and put my painful memories back in a box along with all the decorations. But my friends have other ideas. When I open my front door and look up, there's a very muscular, very not an elf looking man in a Santa hat smiling a stocking curling smile at me. He's holding a toolbox and he says, "Hi, I'm your elf." And with those 4 short words, I'm rethinking my whole stance on this holiday. The next category is going to be reminiscent of. So this is going to be reminiscent of movies, I think is mostly what I have here, that you may have heard of, that you may love, or want more material that you can read based on these movies. Now, some of them are going to be a little bit hit or miss. Some of them may hit the nail on the head. So this first one I think is probably going to be a hit the nail on the head kind of book with being reminiscent of the movie that I'm about to mention. The Holiday Mix-Up by Ginny Baird is a clean romance with no language and just kissing that is reminiscent of While You Were Sleeping, but with a Latino twist. So you have our main character, Katie, who is a waitress at this diner, and she agrees to pretend to fake date her longtime crush and guy that comes into the diner. His name is Juan. Juan's family has tried to set him up for Christmas every year, and he's tired of it. So they agree to this arrangement, but then Juan gets in an accident that leaves him in a coma, and Katie has to keep up this charade. So she ends up going to all kinds of like family gatherings and really being welcomed into Juan's family with open arms. And that includes his brother Mateo. And she starts to question her feelings and wonder if she is pursuing the right brother. To me, that sounds exactly like While You Were Sleeping. So if you are looking for another story like that, which I mean, I am, that's why it's on my list, I think this would be a great one to pick up. The next book is The Christmas Letters by Ginny Proctor. This is a closed-door, dual point of view novella. So this is a novella, not in the novella category, but I had to put it here because it's reminiscent of You've Got Mail. Oh, did I mention it also features a sweet meddling grandma? I don't know what it is about those in stories like romances where the grandma meddles to try to get the couple together, but it's one of my favorite things. So in this story, you have Tess and Andrew. When Tess was little, she sent a letter to Santa, and she ended up getting a letter back, and there was a correspondence that took place between her and this stranger. She has no idea who it is. And then one day she is in a public restroom stall and she has a panic attack. The paramedic shows up and it's Andrew, and Andrew has this inkling that this girl may be the one that he has been writing Santa letters back and forth with all these years. And so I think that sounds like such a sweet story. I love that it's You've Got Mail with a Christmas twist. So if you like that too, this might be a good book to check out. And the last book in this category is going to be Tied Together by Baleigh, Jayne. Now, this may be a little bit of a stretch with the comparisons, but we're just going to say this pulls from The Devil Wears Prada in regards to where the main characters work. It's going to pull from The Hating Game, minus the hating because we got the workplace romance, and it's going to pull from Emily in Paris, but at Christmas. So you have Alana and Alex, and they work together at Impress magazine, and Alana has been dealing with this heartbreak from a 3-year relationship she was in that was very serious. So she's basically sworn off dating and men for the past year. She hasn't seen anyone, and she's kind of having a crummy start to her year. So Alana and Alex, they both work at Impress magazine, and they decide to take a business trip to Paris during Christmas, and they are work friends. So it's going to be a little bit of a workplace friends to lovers romance. And as far as I know, this is a dual point of view, closed door romance. So if that sounds up your alley, and if you want to, just nitpick little things about different movies that you like and put it into this book, then this might be your perfect fit. The next category I only have 2 books for, but these are books that also have a mystery element. So if you were looking for a romance with a little bit more involved to it, these are going to be books for you, especially if you love mysteries. Now, the first one is a recent release, and that is The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year by Allie Carter. I have been itching to get to this one. It sounds so good. It's supposed to be like Knives Out with a rom-com twist. So this is a closed-door rivals to lovers rom-com, and it follows our main characters, Maggie and Ethan. Now, Maggie is the new queen of the cozy mystery, and Ethan is Mr. Big-Time Thriller guy. She hates his guts, and he thinks her name is Marcy, no matter how many times she's told him otherwise. So work rivals, they both end up getting a cryptic invitation to attend a Christmas house party at an English estate, and it's hosted by the most powerful author in the world, Eleanor Ashley, the Duchess of Death herself. But the weather turns and Eleanor ends up disappearing, so we have a little bit of a locked room mystery, murder mystery question mark? We don't really know, and neither do the characters, because they're trying to figure out if something happened to Eleanor or if this is all part of like a prank or part of like her trying to test their skills or something. So I'm very excited to get to this one this year. This is definitely going to be a for sure read this Christmas season. The next book with a mystery element is Better Watch Out by Natalie Walters. This is a Christian hockey rom-com with a touch of suspense. This has vibes of like New Girl in the City, Stranded at Christmas, there's forced proximity, and also enemies to lovers. Nothing screams Christmas like a week spent ice skating, visiting Santa, and sharing a kiss or two under the mistletoe. Franny Frost has crafted the perfect bucket list of romantic activities to surprise her boyfriend in the most magical place at Christmas time, New York City. When he unexpectedly becomes her ex, her plans are derailed, leaving her with a choice: wallow in self-pity at Christmas time or take matters into her own hands. Former NHL defenseman turned personal protection agent Andrew Bishop loves his job when things go as planned. But Franny Frost is definitely not part of the plan. Still, when her brother, the man who saved Andrew's life last year, asks him to deliver his sister safely to the airport, he can't say no. The only problem? Franny isn't leaving. She's determined to make the most of her trip by checking off a bucket list of cliche Christmas activities that would make even Santa's elves jealous. Andrew's content to let her go until he learns that Franny's been mistaken for his client and thrust into the midst of danger. That sounds like such a different, it definitely has like the regular Christmas romance element to it where he's going to deliver her home for Christmas and they're probably going to fall in love. But that extra element of suspense where there's going to be potential danger for her makes it even more intriguing to me. The next category is going to be called Wholesome and Heartwarming. Now, this is not the Hallmarky category that is coming up, but this is the category that might have some elements of Hallmark movies, but it's going to have a little bit extra. Maybe the romance isn't the main focus, or there's a lot more family dynamics going into this. There may be some drama, so something with a little bit more. So the first one I want to talk about is The White Christmas Inn by Colleen White. This is a Christian romance that involves a snowstorm that brings a cast of very different characters together at a sleepy New England inn just in time for Christmas and maybe even in time for a Christmas miracle. You have Molly, who has writer's block, and she ends up meeting Marcus, who is a widower with 2 girls. Then you have Hannah, whose fiance just called off their winter wedding, and she runs into Luke, her childhood best friend. Then we also have Jean and Tim, who are the inn owners, and not only is their business struggling, but also their marriage is as well. As these character stories intertwine, they begin to find hope where they feel like it has been lost, and with faith and a little bit of Christmas magic, the inn and its inhabitants might just make it through the holidays after all. The next book has been on my TBR for the last couple of Christmases, and I cannot believe I haven't read it yet because my friend Caitlin absolutely loves this one. It's called Christmas at Fireside Cabins by Ginny Hale. This is a contemporary romance, and it follows our main character, Lila Evans. After having lost her father during the holidays, Christmas isn't really easy for her, and so this year she decides to take a trip with 3 of her closest friends to Pinewood Hills, Tennessee. They're going to stay in this snowy countryside cabin in the mountains, which honestly just sounds amazing. And when they arrive, they end up finding the cabins in a little bit of disarray. But instead of leaving, they decide to stay and help out. And Lila ends up falling in love with this town, the residents, and the grumpy coffee shop owner, Theo Perry. The next book is one that I have seen going around Bookstagram quite a bit lately, and honestly, it sounds so good. I feel like I need to bump it up on my TBR as well. This one is One Foggy Christmas by Courtney Keisel. This is a clean romance that follows a married couple, but one of them has amnesia and doesn't remember the other one. So it says, what if the person you shared your life with woke up one day and couldn't remember you? So you have Nash and Sadie gets into a skiing accident, and when she wakes up, she does not remember Nash being her husband. She can't remember any part of their relationship, but she does remember her ex. And so you get into this sticky situation where you have this couple who's been married and just head over heels in love with each other, but she can't remember her own husband. And honestly, if I was the husband and she was remembering the ex, I'd probably feel pretty crummy too. So I think they were like boss and employee, so it's like that kind of a romance, but again, they're already married. This has like win back your spouse vibes, and I think there's also even some elements of found family. So honestly, this just sounds so good, and I love the amnesia trope, but I think what is most intriguing to me about this is the couple's already married, and a lot of times you don't read romance books with that. It's typically the getting together, and you don't have that aspect. So I'm really intrigued by this one, so I might have to bump it up. And the last book in this section is Sleigh Bells Ring by RaeAnne Thayne. This is the one book that every year that I go to the bookstore and look at Christmas books, I always see it on the shelves and I love the cover, but I've never picked it up to read it. This is a clean romance with no language and just kissing. This follows our main character, Annie, who is the ranch manager at Angel View Ranch, and she thought her twin niece and nephew could join her at the ranch for Christmas this year since her employer was absent, being none the wiser. But when the ranch's owner, Tate Sheridan, shows up out of the blue, Annie's plans are upended. Soon she finds herself helping Tate make a Christmas to remember for his grieving and fractured extended family, and he obviously is going to allow her to stay with her niece and nephew there. So I don't know a lot about this one. I've heard it's like a Hallmark movie and a little bit different than some of the other romances I've heard about, and so it has finally found its way onto my TBR. The next category is going to be your Hallmark books. So if you love a good cheesy Hallmark movie, then these books are probably going to be right up your alley. The first book is How to Ruin the Holidays by Becky Monson. This is a clean rom-com with just kissing. I do think there is some mild language in this one, and I think this also may be Grumpy Sunshine, where the girl is the grump. So, after a disastrous family Thanksgiving, all Mara wants to do is avoid anything holly and jolly. So when she winds up on this unexpected business trip, she thinks this is probably going to be the perfect escape plan, but then she ends up smack dab in the middle of a winter wonderland. And not only that, but she meets a guy who is Mr. Holiday, and his name is quite literally Noel Holiday. He is a cheerful cafe owner, and he is determined to turn Mara's Christmas spirit around. If you know me, you already knew that this was going to make an appearance in this video. So the next book I have is Christmas with a Crank by Courtney Walsh. This is a clean, grumpy sunshine romance with no language, and it's set on a Christmas tree farm. It also has a childhood crush trope, and he falls first. Also, the "it's always been you" thing is one of my favorite things in the whole wide world. So I don't want to say too much about this one. I don't want to read the synopsis because personally, I love Courtney Walsh and I love going into her books blind. She is a hit for me every single time. I have no doubt that I'm going to love this one. It will at minimum be a 4-star for me. So I'm very excited about this one. Again, I don't want to know all the things. There's also a cute little dog on the cover though. So if you like animals, there you go. Also, I'd just like to point out that I'm so glad that I now have a Christmas tree farm romance to read that's not smutty, because I did try to read Love Light Farms a few years ago and that didn't work out so well for me. So thank you, Courtney Walsh. The next book I've also seen going around a little bit on Bookstagram, and that is Saved by Noel by Tracy Baack. I just recently hauled one of this author's other books. It's like a soccer romance. I think it's called Love and Other Goals, but anyways, that's neither here nor there. I'm really interested in this author's books, and this one is a clean, grumpy sunshine, slow burn romance that is set in a small town, and it also has aspects of found family. Clara has always dreamed of writing Christmas romance scripts, but life as a busy copywriter has sidelined her goal. When she inherits enough to chase that dream, she buys a cozy cabin for a writing retreat. But sparks fly with Clark, the town's Christmas-hating handyman, putting her focus to the test. Can love and holiday spirit inspire her to make her dreams a reality? The next book is 12 Days of Mistletoe by Jen Atkinson. This is a closed-door, enemies to lovers, fake dating rom-com with all the feels and mistletoe kisses. There's also anxiety rep and a meddling grandma, because we love those. This story follows our main character, Bonnie, and Bonnie struggles with anxiety. She has a service dog that lives with her in this apartment complex where technically dogs are not allowed. And she ends up running into Elliot, who is the landlord's grandson, and he threatens to turn her in for her dog, but he ends up needing her for something, so they strike up a deal where she pretends to be his girlfriend for the family festivities for the year, but grandma isn't buying it. And grandma's gonna meddle, and we love that. So I do feel like that is a very common trope where there's like fake dating around Christmas time, and you have like for family festivities sake, where you have those family members that are just constantly bombarding you with questions about when you're gonna finally bring someone home for the holidays. That is such like a peak Christmas trope. So I'm glad to have another book with it. The next book is A Shortbread Christmas by Deb Goodman. This one is for all of you baker, cooking, loving girlies. So Hannah, I'm talking to you. This is a clean, grumpy sunshine rom-com. I'm in a jam, or should I say stuck in a shortbread dough? I inherited my beloved grandpa's bake shop and have his golden baking fingers, but now the shop's finances are dwindling. Without some dough, a plan, and a booth in this year's Christmas festival, my family's cherished shop won't make it. Cue Jesse, handsome business coach extraordinaire. He knows his stuff, but he's so grumpy he makes Scrooge look like a Christmas angel. He tells me I'm impulsive and lack focus. I tell him I'm just passionate about the bake shop. But while Jesse pushes me, I see glimpses of his kindness and I melt like butter. My heart would break if I lost Grandpa's legacy by falling for my business coach. It's time for me to step up and save the bake shop I love so much. But how long can I stay away from Jesse and his surprisingly gooey censure? The next one is More Than I Bargained For, and this is a light Christian rom-com. And y'all, this one, the cover is so cute, and the synopsis of this one is super cute and interesting. And a little bit different than some of the other books that I've seen. So I'm going to read this one as well. On Black Friday, Anna McAllister has one mission: to secure this year's most sought after toy, the Teddy Tab, for her niece for Christmas. When she loses the last one to a frustratingly handsome architect, she's sure to be put on the naughty list for life. Will she be able to find another one before she ruins her niece's chance at a Merry Christmas? Then we have Daniel Hawkins. He has struggled for almost 2 years to be both mother and father to his 6-year-old daughter. Since his wife's passing, he can't seem to get Christmas right. When he learns that the coveted teddy tab is the one thing his daughter wants for Christmas, he braves the cold on Black Friday morning and snatches the last one off the shelf. Unfortunately, securing the bear means taking it from the first woman to stir his emotions since losing his wife. Guilt, not to mention those blue eyes, drives him to give the bear back, but unless he can find a way into Anna's heart, nobody's going to get what they want this year for Christmas. This sounds so good. I love that you have a little bit different of a dynamic, and the romance is going to involve kids in this one, and I just think this is going to be so good, and I need to bump this one up too. There are just way too many good Christmas books this year. Moving on to the next category, we have in a series. So these are mostly like companion series, so you don't necessarily have to read these in order, but if you want to, you can. The first one is The Heart of Christmas by Letitia Sexton, and this is the first novel in the Dating a Denver Dragon hockey romance. I'm loving hockey romances, so of course I had to add another one. There was already the mystery one, and now we have this one. So this is a clean Christian hockey romance, so there's just kissing, no language. And this story follows our main character, Millie, whose dream of stardom falls apart when she can't catch a break in Nashville. She is trying to become a singer, and she ends up coming home with her tail tucked between her legs and just really not in the holiday spirit this year. She is trying to seek some solitude when she ends up crashing into her high school enemy. And I think they get snowed in together. And her high school enemy is Dex Hart. He's also looking for a quiet place to recover from his season-ending injury for his hockey career. And he ends up, again, bumping into Millie. And Millie is just like very guarded with Dex because he betrayed her years ago, which I'm really intrigued to find out what that's about. But Dex has missed her sassy remarks and sparkling eyes too much to let the past ruin the second chance at love. Dex is determined to help her see that God might have another plan for her life and his. Oh my gosh. See, look, when you add God into it, I'm like even more into it because I just love it. Like as a Christian, like that is one thing that I love in my books. I don't always have to have it mentioned because hope and faith tend to weave their way into these books anyways, but this one, yeah, this is high up on my TBR too. The next book, y'all, guess what? It's also a hockey romance. This one is called Season Schemings by Katie Bailey, and it is the first in the Cyclones Christmas romance series. So all these books are Christmas themed. I'm very excited about that because if I love the first one, I can continue on. This is a closed door revenge marriage of convenience hockey romance with the one bed trope. So I think this one is going to be a little bit more like potentially low, like I don't want to say spicy, but it is closed door, but I think there's more innuendos, and I think there's also some mild language in this one, so just be aware of that. There's also a toxic parent relationship, but we have a flirty male main character, and here we are, number 3, funny grandma. The third funny grandma and meddling grandma, because we love those, and I need just more of that in my life. So basically this one is just following Maddie, and her ex invites her to Christmas with his new girlfriend, which like, why are you doing that? But she decides to bring NHL heartthrob Sebastian as her fake husband. So I don't know how she knows this guy or anything else, but that just already sounds so good to me, and I'm here for it. We only have 2 more books left. So the next one is The Mistletoe Bluff by Emily L. Schneider. This is the second book in the Sweet Maridel romance series, and I have been dying to get to, I think it's called The Heart Shot, which is the first one in this series. It has sunflowers on the cover, and I still have not gotten to it, but I really want to. This is the sequel to that one, but again, this is like a companion series, so you don't necessarily have to read them in order. And it is a clean romance. It's enemies to lovers with fake dating. It's a rom-com, and there's also anxiety rep and the he falls first trope. 1 year ago, Oliver Lewis ruined my life by winning the community college photography contest. Now he's ruined it again by scratching my car. Did I mention it's Christmas time? Now, while my car is being repaired, I'm forced to let Oliver chauffeur me around Maridel. But I've found a silver lining. If I win England's most prestigious photo competition, I can finally pay off my debt and move forward with my life. The only problem is one of the judges is Oliver's father, and to better my chances, I have to get cozy with my arch nemesis and pretend to be his girlfriend for Christmas. I thought it would be simple, but I did not expect that underneath that smug, arrogant exterior, there to be a sweet, thoughtful man who would find every excuse to be near me. But it doesn't matter. I, Maya Beck, will not fall for Oliver Lewis. My future rests on winning this contest, and nothing and no one will get in the way of that, especially not an annoyingly handsome British man. You had me there. British man, that's all we need to know. Okay, I lied. I actually have two more, not one more. So, because we wouldn't have gotten to 25. So this next one is Cabin Crush by Casey Stockton. This is the first book in the gift wrapped romance companion series. So I think there are 5, maybe. I think there's 5 different books by 5 different authors. And this is the first one. It is a brother's best friend, unrequited love, clean rom-com. Now, this whole time that we've been here, I have not mentioned brother's best friend, which is one of my favorite tropes. So this is a must. This story follows Rachel and Max. Now, Max is Rachel's brother's best friend, and they always spend Christmas with Max's family at their cabin. And so I think when they were in high school, Rachel and Max had a little fling, or like they had a kiss or something, and it went wrong. And so like they just decided this isn't gonna happen. Didn't end well before, and so now every Christmas Rachel has had to endure this string of endless girlfriends that Max brings in, but this Christmas Max is single, so there may be a little second chance romance going on here. And the last book that I want to mention is actually a series of books, and I'm mentioning them together for a good reason. So I think this is a little bit unique and fun, and kind of like an advent calendar of Christmas stories, if you will. So this is the Christmas Kisses and Cookie Crumbs series, and I think they're coming out on Kindle Unlimited. This is 12 short stories by 12 different authors, and they are going to release every 2 days starting on November 29th and ending on December 21st. So again, kind of like a Christmas story advent calendar, where if you start on the 29th, every 2 days, it's not every day, but every 2 days, you'll get a new Christmas story. And I love this because each of them is a little bit different. You have all the different tropes, so like Grumpy Sunshine, Enemies to Lovers, Second Chance Romance, but then you also have like a cowboy romance and a historical romance that takes place in the 70s. There is small towns and baking. There's even one that has like a secret identity trope. So I'm sure you could find something that you would enjoy here, but I think that's so fun to have like 12 stories throughout the holiday season that you can just read every couple of days. And that, my friends, is going to be all for us today. Thank you so much for sticking with me to the end of this video, and I hope I was able to bring you some new Christmas recommendations, maybe some books you haven't heard of before. And again, I'm always on the hunt for clean and closed door romances because that's just my personal preference, and I feel like they're not always the ones that are front facing on the shelves at the bookstore. So I hope this helped you to find some of those if you were looking for them. And if you did happen to find one of these that you're going to add to your Christmas TBR, please let me know down in the comments, or you can let me know if there's a book that I didn't mention that you think I would enjoy. If you've made it this far in the video and you have nothing else that you want to say, but you just want to leave a comment for support, you can leave a Christmas tree emoji down in the comments. And before I head out, I just want to say one more thank you to Anna Luisa for sponsoring today's video. Again, I just love their jewelry so much, and I highly recommend checking out their Black Friday 35% off sale. Again, the link is down in the description if you want to check them out. Thank you all again so much for watching today's video. I hope you have an amazing Christmas season and enjoy all your Christmas reads, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye, friends.